I thought it was so interesting that of all the questions that people ask on my Q&A video blog where I ask you to submit your questions, the number one question that was asked over and over and over again was, how do you do it all? So I just thought I would answer that today by telling you, number one, I don't do it all. There is not one person out there, no matter how put together they might look, that does it all. And I am no exception. Let me tell you, I keep it very simple. There are so many things that I don't do. You probably do 100 things that I don't do. So rest assured, you are doing an amazing job. And I am not Superwoman. I am such a mess so much of the time. So I don't do it all. There are a few things that I do well, and I try to devote most of my time and energy to those few things. And those things are my marriage, my children, my health, and the blog. And I delete and delegate so many other things from my life because I can't do it all. So number one, I don't do it all. And number two, I don't do it all myself. I have an amazing team of people who helps me with all of the stuff to do with the blog. There are so many behind the scenes things that I have handed off and delegated. And so I just want to encourage you, I am not doing all of these things by myself. I have a fantastic team who they make me look really good. And so just be encouraged that there are so many people behind the scenes that are helping out with the things that you see on Money Saving Mom. And they would never be possible without the team. And that was one thing. It was really hard for me at first, being a frugal person, to bring on people. And I remember when we got to the point where there was no way that I could keep up. And my husband and I sat down and it was like, well, here are our options. Either we can bring people on, we can hire people on, or I can quit the blog or really pull back. And we just felt like God was calling us to go ahead and keep on with the blog, but bring people on to help. And let me tell you, they have been such a tremendous, tremendous blessing. And they help me do my job so much better than I can ever do myself because they're so much smarter and wiser and so much more experienced and just so amazing. And so just remember that. I don't do it all, and I don't do it all myself. Now, for really practical things, for those of you who'd like to see how does my day-to-day look, well, I'll just tell you just one quick tip. This is something that's really, really helped me in organizing my days and using my time wisely. And that is that I use Google Calendar for all of my long-term and short-term planning. I do not right now have any kind of planner. I'm all paperless, and I use Google Calendar. And so if there's something that I need to remember next Tuesday or 4 weeks from now, something that I want to remind myself of, an event, whatever, a deadline, it all goes on Google Calendar. And I like that because it's out of sight, out of mind, but yet it's recorded somewhere, so it will remind me when I need to remember it. And that just frees up so much brain space in my head to not have to worry about that thing 4 weeks from now or even tomorrow. I just put it on my Google Calendar. And then the only paper that I do use is at the beginning of each day or before I go to bed at night. I make a to-do list. Here is today's to-do list. This is what it looks like. It's a lot of times it'll just be on scrap paper or notebook paper or just a yellow pad like that. But what I do is that I look at my Google Calendar and I see what deadlines do I have, what events do we have going on, what things have I written down that I need to remember. And then I actually plan out my entire day, usually with time blocks. Because every day is different around here, so it helps me to just the night before or the morning of to plan out the entire day in time blocks. And so the thing that I find most helpful about this is that I know that I can fit everything into 24 hours. And I try to leave at least some margin time, hopefully an hour or two of margin time. But then it just gives me so much relief because I go into my day knowing that I have planned out the entire day, everything fits into the day, and I know that I have a plan for the day, and all I have to do is just work the plan. And also then it allows me when I'm writing out my list, if I realize, you know what, I'm at 4 p.m. and I have 9 hours more worth of work that I need to write down, then immediately I have to check things off, cross things off, dump things off the list because I realize there's no way I can get it all done. And so planning out my entire day in time blocks like that at the beginning of each day really helps me to be much more organized and to go into the day in control with a plan, and then all I have to do is just work the plan. If you have a question that you'd like for me to answer in another video blog, can you just leave that in a comment today, and I'll pick one of those to answer next week. Thanks so much.